courage of the first in the battle is what guarantees the courage of those who follow. Joe Biden. After 9/11 happened, my Army unit knew we were going to war. Our first sergeant had told us, "Hear me when I tell you this, we are not all coming home." I had the great honor to serve this country in combat operations in Iraq from late 2003 until early 2005. Those that I served with, although not family by blood, are my family nonetheless. They remain in my thoughts each day, and even though our complete story may never be told, and some may never understand, it is my duty to speak of them often to those willing to listen. Today, as we gather to remember 9/11 and the events and loss that have happened since that day, we are joined by 5 of my brothers in arms. Physically, they are gone, but their presence is felt and demarcated by the gold stars on the reserved seats in the audience. They will always have a place. We owe it to those we lost, and their spirit can motivate us to serve those that are still here. My time to speak to you here today is short, and I could not even begin to tell you all about their bravery and heroic actions on the battlefield. But I will share with you one of their stories and explain how they have and continue to help me carry on every day. In May of 1996, Alan Nolan joined my unit, the 660th Det 1 in Zanesville. I had been in the Army for only a few short months, so I was pretty happy not to be the brand new guy anymore. Nolan was from Marietta, Ohio, and when he showed up on his first day, he pulled in driving a ragged 15-passenger church van, and it had seen better days. Nolan didn't have much money and did not own his own car, so his church let him borrow the van to get around. He was putting himself through college, and the Army would help take some of that burden away. Alan was married to his wife, Gail, and would have 2 biological children. Later would go on to foster 3 more. Nolan used to say he was a soldier for the Army second and a soldier for God first. He was a devoted Baptist, but he never pushed his beliefs on anyone. He was always willing to debate or explain his beliefs and answer questions. There are times in combat where even those with the strongest faith find it hard to understand why things are happening the way that they do. And Alan's faith never wavered. We used call signs in combat rather than names, and Alan's call sign was Preacher Man, as he would lead prayer before every mission, a duty that he took very seriously, offering words of encouragement during difficult times, and when our brothers were killed or wounded, he provided reason and reassurance. On September 11, 2004, Alan was taken off of missions as he prepared to return stateside for a 2-week period of R&R. Being off missions offered less of a chance of something happening right before you went home, and it also gave it time to decompress. Alan had planned to finalize the adoption of his 3 foster kids while back in Ohio. Alan did not agree with being taken off of the mission list and considered it a slap in the face. He would always tell us that he knew where he was going, so being in the fight didn't bother him. When a fellow soldier fell ill, Alan volunteered and took his place. This would be his last mission prayer and his last mission. Just north of Taji, Iraq, in the middle of the night, an intense ambush targeted our unit's convoy, and Nolan's truck took a direct hit, erupting in flames. He was severely burned all over his body, so badly that he was unrecognizable. And as the intense battle continued, Nolan and his co-driver put on the back of a Humvee and taken to the nearest base. The only place he could be touched was his chest, where his body armor shielded him from the flames. And as he laid on the gurney in a makeshift hospital, he whispered to his friend to take his Bible from his cargo pocket in his pants, and also asked him to hold on to his wedding ring. That was the last time any of us ever saw Nolan, ever. He was flown to Germany and then on to the burn unit at a Texas Army hospital, where he would die on September 30th, 2004, 12 days after being wounded. His wife and 1 daughter were able to make it to his side, so he did not die alone. Today, Nolan lives on through those of us he served with, and we are all better for knowing him. His mission continues today, and he is exactly where he knew he was going. A few years ago, this facility opened a new clinic just north of Marietta in a small town called Reno, Ohio. I go there once a month to do a fire inspection. It's a familiar route for me because directly across from the street from that clinic is a cemetery, and in the very back of that cemetery is Nolan's grave. Many tears have been shed and many items left at that headstone to signify our visit. Each time I leave the clinic before I turn south on Route 7, I render a salute for my friend, and I'm sure he just laughs and salutes back. Two things I've learned is things can always be worse, and when confronted with loss, channel it into production to do good things in honor of those who have been lost. On your worst days, remember this: there is always someone a few rows back, a few rows forward, or a few seats to your left or right, just like the 5 stars on those seats today, and they will help you on your path. Success in our lives can be summed up in 2 words: always forward. And as I started, I will end. The courage of the first in the battle is what guarantees the courage of those who follow.